Hey guys, Joe Bowlby here, and welcome back to Let's Build a Steampunk City, Episode 12. Last week we went ahead and constructed the Grand Tinker's Palace, and it ended up being one of the best builds in the Steampunk City. This week we're building something a little more humble, our inn. It's going to be built on that open plot in the residential district that's already been pre-outlined with pink wool. Recently I took a trip to Washington, D.C., and I came across the old post office, which is now a hotel. And I was very inspired by that building, inspired so much that I am basing this inn off of that very building. As per usual, using wool to go ahead and outline the main features of the building we're about to build. We start off the build with a massive quartz cube, and then carve in the back center bit where a patio is going to go, and then these two side arms are going to have an oak peaked roof. For some reason, after I got the original layout of our building, I started working on the roof, which is not a practice you want to be doing. Generally, I find it a lot easier to start at the base of the building and work your way up. And eventually I catch myself and realize I'm messing up here, and I move over to the side bottom part of our inn. Our inn's going to repeat one of the themes that our houses use of having the second half of the building come out one block. We're going to do the same for this, except it's not one floor, it's going to be a couple of floors because the inn's a lot taller than our houses. Now I'm just beginning to go and outline how the bottom floor is going to look using the chiseled quartz blocks to sort of outline these panels and where the columns are going to be going. So it's not evident by now, what we're doing is we're repeating the same sort of theme we used on the houses, but expanding it to a much larger scale to accommodate for our inn. And that's because we want all the residential buildings to share a sort of theme, so you know this is a residential building, and if you go over to the factories, you know this is a factory building. The bottom half of our inn is divided up into 5 alternating panels, a set of 3 and a set of 2. The set of 2 is a lot thinner than the set of 3, and they come out one extra block and have that nice diamond window effect in the center of them. And then the set of 3 is supposed to look a lot more residential. It has a deck or a flower garden that has a window looking out to it. And both the flower garden and the decks are using the same design theme that we used in our houses. Around this point I realized it looked a little too repetitious having all those decks on the top, and I wanted to break it up a bit, so the center column ended up going with a completely different design theme, which is just a normal building window with some designs and fencing in there that does not look like a patio at all. Moving on to the top part of the inn, it's going to go ahead and repeat that same sort of column with the diamond window in the center, because I liked it a lot and I liked having it consistently go up the building. That leaves us with 3 panels left. The left and right one are going to have decks on them, ones that are much larger than the decks on the lower half of the inn. And then that center panel is just going to have an ornate window. Because the left and right side of the inn mirror each other, I'm just going to use World Edit to copy and paste it over to the right side. And now we're moving over to the front of our inn, the main entrance to this building. We're once again using the quartz pillar block to go ahead and break up this face into a bunch of different vertical panels, so it's easy to design this flat wall. And if it's not obvious right now, the left, center, and right panels are going to be the same pillar effect with the diamond windows in the center that we had on the side of our inn. And another thing we're stealing from the palace, like I said, I love that stone slab with the fence on top. I decided to go ahead and repeat it over onto our inn. If you're looking between the top and middle window on the left side, you see this sort of square with glowstone in the middle. You get that effect by carving into, putting a 2x2 glowstone panel in, and then in front of it, in every corner, you put stairs. The center column is going to be the same as the left and right one, except instead of 2 blocks in the center, it's going to have 3 blocks, so for some reason, I really wanted our inn to have these large windows, so any passerby or some wary traveler can look inside the inn, they can see how well the guests are treated, they get a nice view of the interior of the inn, and decide, you know what, I'm going to spend my coin here for the night. Those large windows finish, we just got to come back to the center column and go ahead and finish up those diamond windows. And then go ahead and, of course, add in our doorway so people can actually get into our inn. While we've achieved a grand entrance on our front, there's no sign that it's actually a residential building. So for the top part of our inn, we went ahead and added in some of those patios. Now we get to move on to the back, the final side of our building. As you can see, I went ahead and copied and pasted the lower half of the inn that was on the front side over to the back side. So we went ahead and continued our diamond window pillar up the sides of both arms, and that only left us with about 6 blocks, so the only thing that fit in there was another diamond window. But this repetition gets broken up by our patio. So first we gotta add a little doorway so guests can get out onto the patio, and then I added in these large windows, some pillars to support the roof. It's just a simple design because I didn't have much room. And we go ahead and add in some park benches. I dabbled with the tree, did not like the tree, so it ended up getting deleted. So instead of adding a tree in, we add some flowers in, and then for our park benches, it's just stair blocks, and then on the side of them, you have the trap door to get that sort of arm effect. And there goes the tree. Going to the roof of our building, I wanted to overhang a lot more than just 1 block, so I had to actually come out 2 instead. By giving it that extra room, it allows us to go a little bit lower, come out a little further, and it allows these left and right peaked roofs to become dormer windows instead. And then as usual, we're capping off the dormer windows with our white quartz block. Now we get to do the final part, the center spire that comes out from our roof. For this tower, first off, it's been outlined in a chiseled quartz block. A 3-wide rectangle was cut out of the center and stair blocks were placed in the corners. The very center of the rectangle was filled in with a stone slab, and the left and right was filled in with glass. This ultimately leaves us with a very different window design that differentiates itself from all the other ones on the end. The roof of the tower, I decided to have it extend 2 blocks out instead of 1, and the corner bits had a fancy adornment done with quartz stairs blocks and chiseled blocks. Our twin 2-peak roofs were a little plain on the sides, so I decided to come in with a smaller dormer window just to add some variation to the side of the build. And then, I can't believe I forgot, but we have no chimneys. So using stairs and quartz pillars, I quickly designed a chimney and copied it 4 times throughout our inn. And off camera, I realized none of our houses have these chimneys, so I went and added them all in, so next episode, when we're building the central tower, you'll be able to see them. I feel like we got the design and scale right to be identifiable as an inn, and it looks pretty good too. If you liked the video, go ahead and click that like button. If you want to see more from Let's Build a Steampunk City, click that subscribe button. And I'll see you guys next week for the final episode of Let's Build a Steampunk City. Joe Bull be out.